a implicit counterclaim, because
Okay.
everybody has a worldview. The Christianity is a worldview. If you don't accept a worldview, then you deny it by virtue of your worldview. So what is your worldview that falsifies the Christian worldview?
Okay. What's funny is my worldview in general, it doesn't only defalsify the Christian worldview, but it also defalsifies multiple of like worldviews. Like
that is correct.
Yes.
Whatever worldview you don't accept, you deny. Now, what specifically is your worldview?
Okay, so I get to explain to you how I perceive things.
What is it that is ultimate, the ground of all existence, that institutes and secures what is, can be, and cannot be? What is it?
Okay. Well, Darth, I think what the real answer to that is we don't know. And
okay, I'm not talking to a group of people here. I'm talking to you.
Oh, me. Okay.
Do you have anything that is identifiably what is the ground of all existence?
Like 100%. Do I have anything?
Listen to me. I'm not asking you what degrees of confidence you have.
Okay.
Do you have anything that is identifiable and defensible, that is the basis of what is, can be, and cannot be for the sum total of everything?
No, I don't.
Good. Then you have no grounds to reject the Christian worldview. Therefore, you have no basis to say up, down, good, or bad about anything. Because in your world, anything can happen. And if anything can happen, right, then there's no intelligibility.
Okay? But
because in order to have intelligibility, some things have to be off limits. But if nothing is off limits, then you lose your ability to speak intelligibly, because a dog can be a cat.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. No.
Well, then, is that impossible?
It is impossible for.
Good. Now, hold on. Now, what is it ultimately in the grand scope of things that makes anything impossible? If it's not the God of Christianity, which I hold to, what is it that makes anything impossible?
Just how the world is, like how everything is.
Okay, all right. Now that's an appeal to brute facts. Okay.
Yeah.
So all you're just simply saying is that the plurality of things that are within the set of all things, they just happen to be what they are. But that does not prescribe that anything cannot be, because what something is could change to be something that it is not in any given moment.
I agree with
that. Okay, but here's the problem then. Then that means that there's nothing governing what is, can, or cannot be. Let me rephrase the question so you understand the fallacy of your response. Okay. If I said to you, what is it that is ultimate? The ground of all existence, that institutes and secures what is, can be, or cannot be for the set of all real things.
Yes.
Then your response is, well, the set of all real things.
Yeah.
That doesn't dictate then what can be or cannot be. It just means that something is what it is in a given moment, and in any moment it could change and not be. There's nothing prescribing what something is or is not.
Yeah, I agree with you, Darth, but
so therefore, do you understand? I just walked you through this. I just explained to you why your answer is not coherent.
I just don't think we're on the same page. I would like to
Right, good. Thank you for your time. Okay? Yeah. See, you can explain, you can show somebody how what they say is not coherent because it doesn't really address the question. When I ask him, what is it that's ultimate that dictates what is, can be, or cannot be, he says, well, just the way things are. Just stuff happens. But that's not a prescription that something is, can be, or cannot be. It's just stuff just happens. So there's no rhyme or reason why anything is. Okay? All right. Minty, come on down.
Hey, what's up?
God does not exist because?
No, I just lift weights instead, you fucking loser.
Okay. Cal Han, come on down.
Hey there. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep. God does not exist because
there are other things that prove why things happen. There is no
okay. Well,
that God doesn't
Cal, in order to say that God does not exist, you first have to understand what we're talking about when we say God. God is that which is defined as what is ultimate and eternal and in mind, and God is the creator. He institutes and secures everything that is, can be, or cannot be. If you're going to say that God does not exist, you're either going to have to tell me what is ultimate, that is not God, or you're going to have to argue that nothing is ultimate at all, which would be suicide. So what is it that is ultimate that's not God, Cal?
Oh, okay. Here's my point. There is nothing ultimate, which I know you're going to say it's suicide, but things happen for a reason. Happen for a reason because of how they react.
Cal, please stop.
Yes.
Cal, I'm going to remove you from the room. Okay.
Okay,
thank you
cool.
For your all right. This is the problem when you have a lot of teenagers. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now, I guess we're going to have to start to restrict this to adults instead of teenagers. Okay? Do we have any adult atheists who would like to come in and explain your atheism? Please raise your hand. If you are a teenager, please take your hand down. Okay? All right? Please take your hand down if you are a teenager. And by teenager, I mean 16 and under. We'll allow 17 and 18-year-olds to come in here, but you better reason like an adult. Okay? All right. Vulture. Come on down. Okay. God does not exist because?
First, you have to describe what you mean by God. Now, I don't want abstract or dogmatic definitions. I want an actual a reason. Use your rationale, because a rationale is ultimately individualistic.
God is that which is ultimate. The ground of all existence is a mind and is what institutes and secures everything that is, can be, or cannot be that's not God. So God is an eternal mind that is ultimate.
Right, but now you've jumped from it being a force to being something that's individualized. Now, minds, I think we can agree, are individualized.
Volk, listen to me. I've been debating atheists for 10 years. I'm quite
right. This is not me, though. You're talking to me right now.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Okay. So we get these clowns. They just want to be argumentative tools. Yeah. They think that I'm going to humor their immaturity. Okay. So let's see. Aston, come on in. All right, let me know if he pops in.
I think Parakeet might want to come up if you don't mind letting him. Darth, I don't know if he's got his hand up or anything.
I invited him. Okay, I just invited him. Okay, what we want to hear from adults. Okay, I'm tired of having to deal with little children in teenager bodies who don't know how to focus, who don't know how to have an adult conversation. Okay, so if you're not adult-minded, then don't come in. Parakeet, I just sent you an invite.
Yeah, I'm in here.
Okay, so yeah, I guess what we're dealing with is mostly children here, which is not good. Okay, Marcelo, come on in. Okay, God does not exist because? Earth to Marcelo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
One of my objections, Darth, was how do you know that your God has these properties?
Okay, Marcelo, I'll be glad to discuss with you my views, Are you an
Can we
atheist?
discuss it now?
Are you okay, Marcelo? I'll be glad to
Hello?
discuss it with you. Okay, have a nice day. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, Kirby, come on in. And if you're a child, we're not interested. Okay, go ahead, Kirby. Oh, I already talked with you, didn't I?
But listen,
Okay, good. We already talked with him. All right. All right. Let's see. Missing product. Come on in. Okay. God does not exist because.
Okay. Oh, hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. God does
Hello?
not exist because.
Yeah, because they are just the stones, you know.
And how do you know that what is the ground of all existence is not a mind? How do you know that?
I can't really tell, but
All right, we're going to move on to somebody else. Okay. All right, let's see.
I don't know about this. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Did you try Cosmos? Have you already tried that?
Yeah, he was a waste of time. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, look, if you're not going to get to the point, folks, if you're not going to start conversing like an adult, if you're going to babble like a teenager, you're going to be removed very quickly. Okay, Hunter, come on down.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you, Hunter?
I'm 16.
Okay, God does not exist because?
Because I don't agree with the perception of God that humans have.
Yeah, you got to fix your microphone, okay? Then raise your hand again, okay? We can't deal with that terrible quality.
Because I don't agree with the perception that people have of God.
Seuss, come on in. Okay, God does not exist because?
You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Unmute your microphone, Seuss.
Right. Can you hear me?
How old are you?
Am I clear?
How old are you?
I'm 21. 21?
Okay, you don't sound 21.
I get that a lot in, I also look younger.
Okay.
But
God does not exist because?
Yeah, so I believe we base our facts off of evidence via our senses, which is sight, smell, touch, sound, and taste, because this is how we are able to navigate. This is the extent of our ability, and this provides the evidence we gather through experimentation.
Yeah, that's called empiricism. Okay, did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, empiricism is self-refuting. Okay, if you say that the only things that are worthy of believing in are those things that we have access through empirical endeavors, that statement cannot be verified through empirical endeavors. Therefore, it's self-falsifying. Do you understand?
I might not be understanding. Can you expand on that?
Okay. If you say the only things that we can and should believe in are those that we can experience through our senses and empirical endeavors, there are many beliefs that we have that are foundational that you cannot establish through empirical endeavors. Okay? Scientific empiricism or empirical endeavors require the belief that the world around us operates through causal succession for all events, and that there is a regularity of nature in the causal succession of events. But you can't appeal to empirical endeavors to justify that. That's a fallacy. Okay?
So if I can regurgitate what you're saying, can I try to say it to you so I can verify I understand what you're saying?
I wouldn't use the word regurgitate because that means vomit. You mean recapitulate.
Okay, my mistake.
If that's okay.
What you're saying is,
Go ahead.
If I made an analogy, say I'm standing, between a building and a road, and I saw someone, jump over the building, but from my perspective, I couldn't really see that they had jumped from there, but I saw him flying, right? You're saying this is the fallacy. He's not actually blind.
Seuss, I agree with you that for some beliefs, we may insist that we have empirical confirmation. But when you universalize that to say everything that we believe in, well, here's the problem. In order for you to believe in the factness of facts, there's going to have to be something that is absolute, that is imposing and securing identity over time. But you don't have empirical confirmation of that. But you believe in identity over time, don't you? You do. So there are a number of things that science cannot establish or lay down as a provisional belief. Can you empirically demonstrate to me that the world was not created 10 minutes ago with the appearance of age and memories? Can you empirically demonstrate the opposite? No, you can't.
No, but that's not my argument.
Is it rational to believe that the world was not created 5 minutes ago?
No, you couldn't make an argument against or for it.
No, I said, is it rational to believe that the world was not created 5 minutes ago with the appearance of age and the memories of history? Is it rational to reject that?
No, it would be irrational.
Okay. We're okay. You're not getting through. We're going to move on to somebody else. Okay. Yeah. If you're a teenager, please do not put your hands up. Okay. We only want adults. Okay. Because if you're a teenager, we're going to get rid of you very quickly because the teenagers have an incapacity of reasoning like an adult. Okay. Preen, come on down. Okay, let's go to yeah, I think we have a large audience of teenagers, which is not good.
Way too many.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, what we're looking for is adult interaction here. Okay, we don't mind if the teens listen in, but not that there's anything wrong with being a teenager, but it's just that they tend not to have a good interaction. Okay, NICOP. Okay, wait a second. Let's see, NICOP, come on down.
Hello?
Okay, God does not exist because
you're a dumb faggot.
Okay, here we go.
These people are crazy, man. I don't understand why they do that.
No, they're childish, that's all.
Well, I hope everyone who's watching is getting the picture that atheism is irrational.
Yeah, we can't get any adult-minded individuals to come up to the plate and defend atheism. If atheism were so coherent and intelligible and defensible, why don't we see adult-minded people coming in and defending it? We don't. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've got Legolas in the room here. Did you, maybe you invited them? Do you have a question?
I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic. I just have been listening to the debate itself, and it sounded like, I don't know who it was, but you were trying to connect that if you're not religious, you don't have morals, which is not entirely correct. Because
who said that? Who said that? Who said?
I wasn't watching the screen. I was just listening, and you said if you're not religious.
Yeah.
Said someone, I'm not. Maybe it wasn't you, but someone said that if you're not religious, you don't know. How would you know what you're doing, and how do you know
I think what you're doing
is correct?
Yeah. Okay. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the God. Okay. Listen, please don't overtalk.
I'm an atheist, right? So don't use atheist arguments.
All right. Listen to me. Okay. Listen. Do you believe that God is eternal and the necessary precondition and ultimate creator of all things that are not God?
I don't consider that. This is a Christian view of God, but if there is that God,
I'm gonna listen. Okay, thank you for your time. I guess they're not getting the memo. If you're a teenager, please put your hand down. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I don't have any interest in speaking with the teenagers here because they don't know how to focus and have an adult interaction.
It's like you ask them a clear question and then they'll just start rambling about something completely unrelated. I just do not understand, honestly.
Okay, Adios. Go ahead. Come on down, Adios.
You've got to click the accept the thing to come on as speaker on the stage.
Yeah, you got to scroll to the top of your window and click accept invite.
Here I am.
Okay, God does not exist because?
God does not exist because there are impossible states of affairs.
How does that follow?
Well, impossibility by definition is a state of affairs that can never occur under any circumstance.
How does that follow that God doesn't exist?
I'm explaining. So if impossibility is instantiated by a God, then there would be a circumstance which would make it possible.
Yeah, you're not making any sense.
I'll put it another way. If God instantiates impossibility, then nothing is impossible because God could render it possible.
No, things in the Christian theistic worldview, when Gabriel the angel told Mary that she was going to be with child before she had known a man, she says, "How can this be? I have not known a man." Gabriel told her, with God, all things are possible. God is the source of what everything is possible or impossible. Okay? Now, either you will accept that. Hold on, I gotta switch my headset. Give me a second. Okay, so the biblical position is that God is the source and basis of what's possible and impossible. So I'm not having a clear understanding what your defeater is for the existence of God.
So if God instantiates impossibility, then without God, that thing would be possible. Therefore, there exists a state of affairs which this impossible thing X could be possible, and therefore it was never impossible in the first place.
Yeah, you're going to have to express it more clearly than that. You wouldn't be able to stipulate what, if anything, is possible or impossible. There would be no rhyme or reason why anything is.
But if God exists, then nothing is impossible.
How does that follow?
No, you're not understanding, okay? Impossibility and impossibility is what would conform and cohere to the eternal character of God. So, for example, it is impossible for God to not exist. Okay, so it is the eternal nature and character of God which determines what's possible and impossible. Okay,
but if God determines impossibility,
listen. Let me explain it to you. Okay, the God of the Bible, it is His eternal nature, character, and purposes which instantiate and sustain why anything is possible and impossible. There are some things or propositions that are possible in virtue, not because God wills that they're impossible, but because they cannot coexist with God's immutable nature. Okay? So some things are impossible because it does not conform to God's eternal character and nature, and some things are impossible because of God's plan. Okay? Now, what I would like to hear from you is, in a non-convoluted way, how it is that the ground of all existence is not a mind.
A mind is capable of change and therefore cannot institute impossibility, which could never change.
So I repeat that again. That was just weird.
So impossibility, by definition, can never change. It's always impossible.
That's false.
Impossible means cannot be under any circumstance.
No, that's false, because God could make it impossible for hold on a second. Okay. It can be impossible for me to rectify my guilt and condemnation before God, but God can make it possible through his plan of salvation. God can make it possible sometime in the future for me to jump to the moon. But right now it's impossible because the world is operating according to his plan. In the future, he might allow me to jump to the moon. Okay?
But the definition...
okay, listen carefully. The source of possibility and impossibility is God. Certain things that are impossible are due to God's immutable nature, not his will. Other things are possible or impossible due to God's will and purposes and plan of creation. Now, if you say God does not exist, you're going to have to tell me then what it is that is ultimate, the source of everything that's not God. What would that be?
I don't know what that is, but I know that impossibility cannot be instituted, otherwise it's meaningless.
No, that's ridiculous. Is it impossible for me to jump to the moon?
I believe so, yes.
Good. In the Christian worldview, can God institute that some things are impossible?
I'm not familiar with the Christian worldview. I'm an atheist.
In the Christian worldview, God is the creator and Lord and sovereign, and he institutes the regularities that exist. So at one time, God can make it impossible for me to jump to the moon. In the future, he could make it possible for me to jump to the moon.
Okay,
so the point is this: if you're going to tell me what's possible or impossible, you can only do so in virtue of instantiating it is as what is ultimate and the source of possibility and impossibility. But you just told me you have no idea what it is the source of possibility or impossibility.
If God can make something impossible possible, then it was never impossible in the first place.
That's a non sequitur what you just said.
That's the definition of impossibility.
God can make some things impossible in perpetuity. There are other things that God can make impossible only temporarily. So what you said is a non sequitur. Do you know what a non sequitur is? It means it does not follow.
Well, now, impossibility.
You're not okay. I want to ask you a question. Okay. I asked you earlier what it is that is ultimate that's not God, and you say you don't know. So you're not in a position to say what is, can be, or cannot be on any basis. So it's game over, lights out.
I disagree.
You're not understanding. Okay?
Some things can be stated definition without context.
You're not understanding, okay? A definition would be a concept. Does that concept, does it conform and cohere to the actual state of affairs? Well, how do you know that? You don't know that. You don't know what is ultimate that's dictating what is and can be and cannot be, do you?
I don't believe there is a thing that institutes. I believe.
Okay, well therefore you can't object to anything. And if you can't object to anything, you can't affirm anything. Do you understand do you understand what I just said to you?
Yes. I can object to your foundational thing being a mind.
You're not understanding, okay? If I tell you, let me see how to express this in a way that everyone can grasp. If I tell you the dog is running in the backyard, that's a positive statement. But for every positive statement or proposition, it is simultaneously a denial of its negation. Okay? Let me repeat that again. All positive statements are a denial of their negation. Now, do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if there's nothing dictating, all right, impossibility, then nor can you state possibility, because whatever you state is impossible would be a positive state of affairs, which is a denial of its negation. So if there's nothing dictating what's impossible, then nothing dictates what's possible either. So therefore, you will destroy your ability to predicate. Predication is uttering statements that contain propositions with a subject and an object, okay, where they have intelligibility. But if there's nothing that dictates what if all anything is impossible, then nothing dictates what's possible. Therefore, anything goes, and if anything goes, it destroys all intelligibility. Okay. Now, did you understand what I just said?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. You cannot have intelligibility unless some things are off limits. Okay. Do you accept that as true?
Absolute intelligibility, yes, I agree.
Okay, so intelligibility requires certain states of affairs be impossible. In other words, that certain positive states of affairs cannot be otherwise. So, is there anything that is ultimate, that is the source and basis of what is? Does such a thing exist?
I believe impossibility is a brute fact and is not.
No, you're not. You're not understanding. You need to focus on what I'm saying to you. I'm not giving you trick logic here, right?
Well, he
is
did
there
answer,
something?
Darth. He said there's not, because he said it's a brute fact, which means it is the case.
Well, then, if it's a brute fact, it means that for whatever state of affairs you invoke, there's no rhyme or reason what it is, and it can when you invoke it, it can equal or coexist with its denial and negation, thereby rendering it as meaningless. Okay? Now, I'll ask you again, is there something that is ultimate that institutes and secures anything at all that is?
Like I said, I believe it's a brute fact, so it's not.
So the answer is no. A brute fact would mean it's no. There's nothing identifiable or defensible that institutes what is and cannot be.
Correct.
That's your position?
Yes.
Good. You have now, because you have rejected God as creator and as ultimate, that he is the one who institutes and secures what is, can be, and cannot be. When you reject that, you have now destroyed your ability to speak intelligibly. Because in order to make a positive proposition that has a truth value, okay, then there would have to be something that dictates what is and consequently what cannot be. So do you understand, by your failure to acknowledge as what is ultimate, you lose your ability to speak intelligibly?
No, I disagree.
Okay. Can you speak intelligibly if there's no grounds for possibility or impossibility?
I believe there is ground for possibility and impossibility. It's
good. Then what? No, you're not. That's a contradiction in terms.
It grounds itself.
No, you're not understanding. A brute fact is that a proposition, an entity or state of affairs exists without any reason.
That includes internally. It doesn't justify itself.
There's no internal or external reason why something is. Okay, so if you appeal to the brute factness of an entity or states of affairs, what you're saying there indirectly is there is no fundamental or ultimate rhyme or reason why anything is.
If you say internally justifies itself, then what you're saying is that it's an ultimate, which you've already denied that such a thing exists.
Okay. So do you understand? Do you understand? Listen to me.
Yeah, it is the case, dude.
Impossibility is an ultimate.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you're trolling or not, or you're just not really understanding this, but I'm painstakingly explaining this to you. Okay.
Well,
listen, adios. If nothing dictates what is impossible, then you cannot have intelligibility. Do you understand that?
Let me just explain real quick. Impossibility.
Okay. I asked you a question. Listen. I don't need you to lecture me because it's clear. Hey, adios. Don't overtalk me. It's clear to me, and it's clear to many of the people in the audience, that number one, you don't know what you're talking about. Number two, you're trying to inform me. You simply do not know what you're talking about. Now, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really trying to inform you. Is there something that is invariant that imposes any state of impossibility?
No.
Thank you. Now, if nothing is impossible, then you cannot invoke any positive statement, okay? Because for every positive statement, it is also a statement of impossibility. It's a denial of its negation.
So you made a leap there.
Did you understand? Okay, did you understand what I just said?
Yes, but that's
okay. Is a positive statement also a statement of impossibility?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but you said there's nothing dictating what's impossible. If nothing dictates what's impossible, then nothing dictates what's possible either.
I said nothing dictates impossibility. I did not.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Okay, yeah. This guy knows full well.
In other words, there's things that are impossible for no reason.
Yeah. All he's simply being is he's simply being argumentative. He knows he's been painted into a corner. If there's nothing that institutes impossibility, then you cannot talk about what's possible or what is or can be. Okay? Because when we state that something is positive, it's a denial of its negation, which is a statement of impossibility. So, yeah, I removed him because he was just trying to be argumentative. He was by choice not wanting to understand. Okay? And that's sad. It really is sad. Okay, let's go to all right. Let's go to Peep. Come on down. All right, he's not showing up. Let's go to Gallo Hawkins. God does not exist because...
Hello?
God does not exist because...
No, I believe in God.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Razor, come on down.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep. God does not exist because...
No, I'm not saying that it's not exist. I'm not just like fully convinced that it's God because...
Yeah, take the wet paper towel off your microphone. Okay. All right. I see we have some real rocket surgeons today. Okay, Purple Orphan. I hope you have an adult mindset. Yeah, don't bother raising your hand, Adios. You are clueless. You're a deer in the headlights.
Hello?
Yeah, fix your microphone.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
You got a lot of background noise. What do I mean? Okay, go ahead, Minty.
Takbir.
All right.
What's wrong with these people?
Well, they're probably potheads. Okay. Okay, if you've been up here before and you've been removed, don't bother putting your hand up, okay? Or you'll be disconnected, okay? Put your hand down if you've been up here before. Okay, disconnect. All right. Okay, Diana, come on down. Diana, come on.
Can you hear me?
God does not exist because...
My name is Jana, not Diana. Can I-
Oh, gosh. I don't want to talk to a Disney character, okay? Let's see. That's unfortunate that we have so many children showing up on mic. Okay, if you're an adult and you want to discuss atheism, raise your hand. Smug, come on down.
Hey, how you doing?
God does not exist because?
That's a hard one. Let's see.
Can you get closer to your microphone, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Is that better? Okay. Anyways, you're the reason bullying fucking works. You fuck.
I guess we have a lot of people that are eating paint chips when they were little. Man of War, come on down.
Hey there.
God does not exist because?
A little bit of convoluted question, if you ask me. I feel like God.
Go find your retainer, get your jammies, get ready for bed. Okay.
A guy named Robbie said he's had his hand up for a long time.
Okay, I'm looking for him on the list. I don't see him on the list here. Just invite him if you see him. Oh, I see it. Okay. Come on down,
take
Rob.
responsibility if this guy starts screaming the N-word, okay?
Okay, all right. All right. MI6, come on down. We're waiting. Okay, Basu, come on down.
Robbie requested he get another try. He said he got disconnected somehow.
Yo, hello? Fuck you, you little...
Okay.
These guys,
so this is
they're like
this is a
5-year-olds.
perfect example.
Well, I wouldn't let it. Listen,
rationality of
I wouldn't let it upset you. It's just a reminder to us how some of us had good parents and they don't. Okay. Okay, John of the whatever, come on down. John of the North.
Can you hear me?
Okay. God does not exist because?
Oh, hi, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, John.
Hi,
God does not exist because?
God does not exist because there is no quantitative or qualitative evidence to prove his existence.
And how did you determine that?
Because there isn't any present. I mean, outside of...
You're repeating the same claim. How did you determine that all the facts that you believe in exist independently of God? How'd you determine that?
Well, what evidence is there to prove that he does or does not exist?
That's a question that's not a defense of your assertion. Do you know what is the ground of all existence that is the source of all facts? Do you know what that is, John?
Well, there is limited evidence to prove that he exists
John,
outside of the Bible.
if I ask you another question and you evade the question, you're okay. Thank you, John. Have a nice day.
Wait a minute.
John. Yeah. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was high, smoking pot, and that's why he's so confused.
Did you hear what I said about Robbie?
I'm looking for him on the list because it's not. Okay, there are so many people in there. Okay, well, if you see him on the list, invite him in. Okay.
I don't know if I have authorization to do that.
Well, I'm looking for. See, Discord has to do where they have people raising their hand have to be bumped to the top.
Hello.
Okay. Go ahead. God does not exist because?
I believe that he is just a creation of our mind. So,
okay. Robbie, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. So you've decided that God is not creator, not ultimate. How did you determine that?
It's because, so I was believing in God.
I don't mean to be rude, but can you please get closer to your mic?
Sorry. I was a believer in God until I read a scientific text that changed my mind. So
you read what scientific text demonstrated what is ultimate and the ground of all existence? What scientific text is that?
it did, because I believe that it can explain everything, or not explain everything.
No, that's incorrect. Do you know who Lawrence Krauss is?
No.
Lawrence Krauss is a theoretical physicist who wrote a book, Something from Nothing. He said God is not necessary because the laws of nature can explain everything. When I asked him what it is that is ultimate, the source of all possibility, he said he didn't know what that is. So if you're going to explain this world without God, you're going to have to tell me what is ultimate and the source of all possibility. What is it?
Right. So I personally believe, being a science person, that energy is something that is ultimate. It's something that can change forms.
Yeah,
It's the
listen,
reason
you
why
got to get closer to your microphone.
I believe that energy is the ultimate thing ever,
Okay.
because it is
I
what creates
understand that. How did you determine that energy is all there ever was? How'd you determine that?
It's something that it's the only thing that can change forms into what we have in.
You're making a universal statement. Do you know everything? How do you know that?
But we can also argue, how do we know that God exists if that
Okay, well
is
now but you see, I'll be glad to explain to you why we do know that God exists, but you are evading the problem. All you're just simply telling me is you're advocating for materialism or naturalism, and that energy at a foundational level is the substrate of everything else that exists. Now, how do you know that at a fundamental or quantum level that energy fields are all that exists? How do you know that?
I do not have a concrete answer to that, sir.
Okay, so you're asserting that God does not exist because of I don't know. Do you realize how embarrassing that is?
No, it's not.
You're asserting that what is fundamental to everything is energy. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you know that? How do you know that energy is eternal?
It's because we have read about it for so long, just like we have read about
I'm not understanding you because of your accent, okay?
Yeah.
How do you know that energy has always existed?
By the way, we know you couldn't possibly know that. So
Yeah.
if you continue, we know you're just bullshit.
All you're just spouting is materialism.
You're not allowed to swear on the stage. I mean, Parakeet, please do not swear on the stage. Thank you.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, Dark Horse, come on down. God does not exist because.
Hello. God doesn't exist because, like.
Yeah, you gotta get closer to your microphone, please.
Oh. Is it better?
Yes, God does not exist because.
Well, God doesn't exist because, like, I might get kicked off for this, but like it's like a rumor, like how, like when rumors occur is like.
Yeah, dude, we're looking for serious adult-minded people. Are you going to give me a serious answer?
Yeah, hold on, let me just drink some water.
All right, we're done. Okay. Okay, Bland Flakes, come on down. Risen, come on down. All right, we're going to move on to somebody else if you don't jump on it. Okay, Faye, come on down. Faye, come on down.
Sorry, I got that late. Sorry.
Okay, God does not exist because?
Well, to start things off, I just want to say I don't think there's enough evidence. Like, I'm gonna say I'm more like in the middle. So I don't necessarily agree that there is or there isn't.
Okay.
But
Can
what I
you
will
be
say,
in the middle of being dead or alive?
no, that's not what I mean, you idiot. I
No.
mean I'm
Okay,
in the
so can
middle of like
you can't be
believing
neutral
whether
about
it's real or not. And I would like
you
you to explain to
can't be
me
neutral,
like,
Faye.
what the actual evidence
Okay, thank you for your time. Another numbskull. Okay.
I mean, if anybody's rude, then they're just going to get taken off the stage. I mean, you know, at the end of
Okay.
the day,
All
if you
right.
call people idiots and stuff, that's going
Jackie,
to be the
come on
problem.
down. Go ahead, Jackie. God does not exist because?
Because, first of all, if God really is this
Don't
all-powerful,
give me
mighty
if. Stop.
being,
Stop. Okay. Please stop
Okay.
giving me your conjectures. Fill in the blank. God does not exist because?
he's a terrible God. He literally pours disease over his people all the time, causes so much destruction, and is just overall bad at his job. He
That's not an
sucks.
argument. That's not an argument that God doesn't exist. What that
And
is
there's too
hold
much
on.
evidence.
Hey, Jackie, let's have an adult interaction, okay?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
if not, I'll remove you. I don't want to remove you, okay? But let's have an adult interaction, okay? You haven't made a case that God doesn't exist. What you have made a case for is that you don't like the course of human history as a part of God's plan were he to exist. It doesn't follow that you don't agree or don't like what's happening that God doesn't exist. Okay?
All right. So part of the reason he doesn't exist is because there's too much evidence proving that he doesn't. I mean,
Okay. How did you
technically,
determine?
can't-
Okay, hold on. Slow down. Okay. How did you determine that all the facts that you are acquainted with do not derive or necessitate its origin in God? How did you determine that?
because as far back from fucking the Cambrian explosion, we
Yeah.
have been
Okay.
evolving.
Okay. Jackie, listen. This is your lucky day, all right? Because you've been brainwashed into the very bad scientific theory of evolution, you think that that gets you to atheism. It doesn't, okay? Evolution is the fertile soil out of which atheism grows. But invoking evolution doesn't get you that there's no God. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I do agree with you, just like Julian Huxley, who said Darwin's greatest achievement was to remove God from the sphere of rational discussion. And because you do believe in the very bad theory of evolution, you feel you have no need of God. But it doesn't follow from that that God doesn't exist. Either what is ultimate and the source of all possibility and impossibility is a mind, or not. Do you know what it is that is ultimate, the source of all possibility? Do you know what it is and that it's not a mind?
Yeah, mainly because fucking
Oh,
there's
okay.
this.
What is it? Could you tell me then? What is it foundationally that is the ground of all existence that institutes everything that is, can be, and cannot be? What is this ultimate then?
We can't say that yet. We haven't gone that far.
Well, if
And
you don't know what it is, how can you rule out that it's a mind?
Same goes with you. How can you prove that it's a mind?
Okay, notice how you just abandon your argument. You see,
I
the
didn't. I
reason
simply.
the reason why you don't believe in God is because you don't want there to be a God, because if God does exist and you acknowledge that God exists, then you would not be autonomous. You want to be autonomous. You want to be the final court of appeal as to what the nature of reality is, determining what's right and wrong for yourself, or in collaboration with other human beings. You do not want to be recognized that you are creaturely and that everything that you are derives and depends upon God. But you don't have an argument or a rationale that what is ultimate is not God. Because if you had one, you would have given it so far, and you haven't. So either you're being arbitrary, meaning you are saying God does not exist without a rational basis or a reason, or you're operating through motivated reasoning to deny God's existence because you want to be autonomous, and then to spew out an atheist cliche such as there's no evidence for God, which that statement cannot be defended. So why do you believe there's no God?
Well, simply because if there is a God, then why has he done all these things?
Asking me questions does not support your contention that there is no God, does it?
Okay, well then let me not ask a question. There isn't a God, because if there was a God and he was truly almighty, he wouldn't damn his people. You know, he wouldn't
How does
throw
that
disease at them.
how does that follow? In other words, see, the mistake that you're making is that if God existed and he was almighty, then he wouldn't run his redemptive course of human history in that way, because you have a better way. So is your way of implementing creation and redemptive history better?
Yes, I believe the world.
Okay, do you realize how psychotic that statement is?
You realize how psychotic saying, "Oh my God, there's a God in the sky and he's controlling everybody.
No,
he has
that's
a
not.
plan."
Okay, hold on a second. Here, I'll tell you why it's not psychotic. Okay, right? Either everything that is, can be, or cannot be is dictated by one thing, or there is not something singular dictating what is, can be, or cannot be. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Okay, now, is it psychotic to say that there is something that is ultimate, that is the ground of all existence, why anything at all exists, and those things are what they are and cannot be what they cannot because of what is ultimate? Is that psychotic or not?
You're just like saying.
I'm asking you a question. Is it psychotic or not to say that everything that is, can be, or cannot be has an ultimate singular grounding to it? Is that rational or irrational in your view?
That's irrational.
Okay, guess what? Do you know what you've just done? You've now plunged into a world in that there is nothing controlling why anything is, can be, or cannot be. Therefore, nothing is impossible. And if nothing is impossible, then you cannot even invoke the possible.
Wait,
because
did he
if
just
you
say it's irrational to think there's a reason for things?
yeah
Is that
yeah
what he said?
you said it's irrational to believe. You said it's irrational, meaning non-reasonable, to believe that there's a fundamental reason why anything is. So you believe it's rational to believe that there is no fundamental reason why anything is. Do you understand that's your position?
Yeah.
Do you realize how crazy that is?
In
I'll
other words,
repeat
it's rational to be irrational.
I'm going to mirror your position. Your position is it is rational to believe that there is no fundamental reason why anything is. That's your position. I'm not putting words into your mouth.
it's just like you're calling me crazy because.
Do you
listen?
I hold on a second.
Think,
I'll let you talk.
I
don't think you understood what I just said to you. You are saying it is irrational to believe that there is a fundamental and singular reason why anything is.
Rationality would be that there's a reason for things, right? That's what rationality means.
What I said is that I believe that it's irrational. I never said that people who do believe in God.
Well, I'm not talking. I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm talking to you.
The thing is that it's.
Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic that his avatar is the crazy Joker?
No. First of all, my profile picture doesn't have anything to do with that, and it's important.
I said it's ironic. Okay. Is there no reason whatsoever why anything happens?
Well, first of all, if you let me finish what I said before you ask
me. Can you answer the question? Is there no reason why anything happens?
Yes, technically there is no reason. Things just happen because they happen.
Oh, okay. So here's the problem then. Okay. If there's no reason why anything happens, then you can't reason. It's game over.
The way that
Yeah, you're not listen to me. Do you really think, and I want you to be truthful here, do you really understand what we're actually talking about right now?
Yes.
No, you don't. You said there is no rhyme or reason why anything happens.
So why don't you just accept that God exists?
Therefore, you can't object to anything I say.
Yes, I can't object to anything you say if you keep on interrupting me and just start.
Okay, all right. Listen to me. When you grow a few more years, and you develop some more critical thinking skills, then come back. Right now, you're just reasoning like a defiant child. Whew. Wow. Sad. Lolak, come on down.
Oh, I didn't know I would be picked, but I was just coming in from last night with that topic. I wanted to know what topic we were talking about today.
Okay, God does not exist because, are you an atheist?
I'm not an atheist. I'm actually Catholic.
Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, Diana, come on down.
Can I?
Okay, you'll be next, Risen. Diane, God does not exist because.
Again, you muted me before for my voice.
Okay, go ahead, Risen. God does not exist because. Rise, go ahead.
Did you mean me?
Okay. Okay, let's see. R1, come on down.
Hello. Thank you.
God does not exist because?
Well, I think you're asking the wrong question. Is what this is all about is atheism on trial, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are you an atheist? Are you an atheist?
Yes.
Okay,
My definition of atheism is not saying that.
Okay, that is not
God
the
does
standard.
not exist.
That is not the
My
standard
statement.
definition. So you've selected. Hold on a second. So you do not believe that there is no God. Then is that correct?
I believe. I neither know there is a God.
Do you
believe?
Do you believe there is no God?
Do I believe there is no God? Well, I do not know. And
Okay,
I believe neither do you.
I didn't ask you if you know. I said, do you believe?
Let me out.
Okay, thank you, 30, for your time. Okay, wow. I feel sorry for school teachers. You know that? Wow. Okay, X for. All right, hold on. Wow, the screen keeps on jumping. All right, let's see.
Yeah, sometimes the lag's pretty terrible.
Yeah, Discord's going to have to fix this system by putting everyone who raises their hand to the top of the list. Okay, let's see. Okay. Wow, it keeps on jumping on me. Okay, well, with
I don't
some
know
of
how
these,
it is on the PC, but for me, it's actually much clearer. But there's a few people that you know have already spoke to in the list, so I don't want to interfere with that at the minute.
no, the screen keeps on adjusting with people coming in and out. Okay, okay, Butterscotch, come on down.
Yo, hello.
Yeah, God does not exist because
I haven't seen him.
yeah, you're gonna have to do better than that. Okay. Do you have an adult answer?
Well, I haven't.
Okay, thank you for your time. All right. No wonder some people don't want to have children. Okay. Shadow, come on down. Okay, God does not exist. You
Can you
better
hear
come to your mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, the Christian God does not exist because if he did exist, I would know him. I don't know him.
Stop with
Therefore,
debating and
the Christian God
switching.
does not
Okay,
exist.
are you an atheist?
I'm an atheist to the Christian God. Yeah.
Okay, that's not atheism, sir. Okay, atheism
Do you want to
is
defend the Christian
okay.
God or not?
Okay, there we go. You want to play little games? Okay. Yeah, I do, and I have defended the Christian God. Okay. Obviously, what you want to you talk about that you disbelieve in the Christian God, right? But you want to play little games, okay? Right. Let's see. And we could tell by his avatar that he is in cohorts with the knuckle dragging atheists that show up in the atheist ghettos with their rebel icon. Okay. Okay, Pine plays. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, God does not exist because
He allowed you to smoke 12 packs a day.
and that's why some tigers eat their young.
Yeah.
Okay, Lazy, go ahead.
Hi there. God does not exist because you cannot prove he exists.
It's a non sequitur. That's a fallacy. Okay, first of all, when you say I cannot determine whether or not facts derive from God is an indefensible statement. Do you think you can defend it?
I'm not saying I can defend that, but I'm saying everything around us that we can prove exists. You cannot prove that God exists.
If we had a scenario.
Can you? Can you prove that God exists?
Okay.
Can you?
Can I? Yeah, I do.
Okay, then prove it. Do it.
Okay. Listen, how old are you?
Around 17 at this point.
Okay, then start acting like a young man instead of just a snot-nosed teenager. Okay. That way you'll remain. Okay.
Sure, of course.
This is not the cafeteria table at lunch hour, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, are you an atheist?
Yes, I am an atheist.
Okay. God does not exist because
I've already said because you cannot prove he exists.
That's that's a fallacy.
Okay, I get that.
Okay.
But you did say you could prove he exists.
It doesn't. Listen to me carefully.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know what the fallacy of ad ignorantum is?
No, please tell me.
Okay. It's an appeal that unless something is proven false, it can't be true, or vice versa. It's a fallacy. It's ad ignorantum.
You can't prove there are aliens, therefore there's no aliens.
Yeah. Okay. So your reasoning that God does not exist that you presented is a fallacy.
Okay. Yes.
Now, number two, when you say that I can't prove God exists, that's additionally fallacious because you can't demonstrate that I can't prove it. So in other words, what you're saying is that there is no fact.
Well, no.
Let me finish.
Okay.
When you say I can't prove God, that is the equivalent of saying that there cannot be any fact that can be presented that would therefore necessitate referencing God. How could you defend that? How could you defend that?
I couldn't if you put it like that, but you did say you could prove it exists.
Now, you have
did
now
say you
admitted,
could prove it.
Listen to me.
Sure.
You have now admitted that your atheism is indefensible.
I said that question was indefensible in the way that you described it. Yes.
Your reasoning that God does not exist is fallacious. Do you have any other grounds that God, in fact, does not exist?
Do you have any grounds that he does exist?
Okay, we're going to try this one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your first line of reasoning, you have conceded that it is fallacious. Do you have any other reasoning that God does not, in fact, exist?
I do not at this time.
Okay, so you have now admitted that atheism is indefensible.
No, I've admitted that your question
is your atheism defensible?
Yes.
Good. God does not exist because
you cannot prove he exists.
Okay, so you want to? You're a dog going back to its vomit again. Thank you for your
Is
time.
a fallacy a defense? I didn't know that.
Okay. And when he says we can't prove God exists, yes, we can. We can show that all facts individually and collectively indicate and reveal God, because otherwise they couldn't be facts. If there are facts, then God exists. Why? It's because then those facts would reveal God, and those things would only exist and possess intelligibility because of the mind and plan of God, and that God reveals himself through all these things. If that is rejected, okay, then there couldn't be any facts at all, because what would be their ultimate context? If their ultimate context is not in the God who is and who has revealed himself through creation, then there is no identifiable ultimate context in order to have facts, and then there would be no facts at all. There would just be facts that people claim, but that they have no ultimate context to appeal to, right?
Well, Darth, maybe this guy is using a fallacy as his defense because he's adopting the previous guy's position, which is that irrationality is rationality.
Well, that's what we're dealing with. They just, when they say, well, you can't prove God, well, that's the equivalent of saying that all of the world around you does not indicate God, but he can't defend that statement. Okay. All right, let's go on to somebody else. It's a shame. We could be having some really great conversations here with adults, but we're not having any. Okay, Xeon, go ahead. You're on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not atheist. I'm Christian. But
okay, thank you for your time. All right. Yeah, what we want are adult-minded atheists. Okay, mythical being. Go ahead. God does not exist because. Okay, dog water. Go ahead. God does not exist because. Dog. Okay, mythical being first, then dog water. Okay, go ahead, mythical being.
Okay, so God is supposed to be this almighty protector of everyone. So if he's so real,
mythical being,
why
your mission should you use to accept it? Oh, you're still here. Okay, I don't want to hear a commentary. I want you to explain to me how it is that you know there is no creator God. Go ahead.
Okay, so if God's not real because innocent people die all the time, and apparently he's this
It
protector.
doesn't follow. It
and there's
doesn't
no
follow.
evidence, and
It doesn't follow that there are nasty things that happen in creation that there's no God. That's a non sequitur. Okay. Number two, when you say there's no evidence for God, how did you determine that all the facts that you know of do not necessitate God? How did you determine that? Have you decided what they do necessitate from?
okay, well, there is evidence of life. There's
Okay.
cells.
Mythical being. What is it that, listen to me carefully, what is it that is ultimate and fundamental, that is not God, that all things derive and depend upon? What is it, so that you can show me God doesn't exist? What is that?
A long time ago, there was this blast in the earth that created everything. Things are
All
made of
right, all right. Thank you for your time. I sure hope people who were hoping and planning to have children weren't listening today, because this may discourage them from having children.
Yeah, there has been quite a few people coming up, and they've not really even attempted to answer the question. I mean, you know, there's pretty clear question that's been put on the table basically throughout the entire time you've been here, and there's not one person really who's answered it, which is a shame.
I know, it's sad, very sad.
Well, the Bible says God has made the wisdom of the world into foolishness, and what we're hearing here is the wisdom of the world.
Yeah, all we keep on hearing is foolishness. All right, we'll give this one a shot. Okay, so Ben, come on down. I hope you have an adult mindset. Go ahead, Ben. Okay. Okay, Barton, come on down. God does not exist because...
Hello?
Yep. God does not exist because...
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
God does not
All right,
exist
perfect.
because...
Well, I just wanted to say that I think, you know, weakness is almost like a god now in the modern age, being totally...
All right. There we go.
Weakness is like a god now. How is that an answer to the question, how does God exist? How is it that God does not exist? Sorry. I just don't understand these people. It's... can you find someone to bring up next, Darth?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these screen names, and by the screen names in the avatar, it looks like they're teenagers. So I'm kind of reticent to bring them on, because I'm tired of having to deal with 12-year-olds.
Yeah, some of the names are absolutely incredible. I don't know if there's anybody else here.
Go ahead, Lenny.
Sorry.
Come on down, Lenny.
What's your proof that God doesn't exist? You're asking everyone, you haven't.
Okay, yeah, well, I've explained that over and over again. The line of reasoning by which we defend the existence of God, and specifically the Christian God, is that God has revealed his existence through all of creation. Every fact, individually and collectively, is indicative of that there is an ultimate, that there is an absolute, and that absolute is a mind, and without which we couldn't know that it exists. That unless any particular state of affairs is revelatory of that absolute ultimate creator God, then that individual fact wouldn't mean anything, because it wouldn't be derivative of the mind of God and his plan. Therefore, that individual state of affairs, if you will, wouldn't ultimately be, it wouldn't indicate anything ultimately. There would be no final or foundational reason identifiably why anything is what it is. So we can only have facts, and fact possessing the intelligibility if and only if they originate in the mind of God, and that these facts reveal God. Okay? And God has also revealed himself through the course of human history, through special revelation, the Christian scriptures, and it has been preserved sovereignly without error. Okay? And that the message therein cannot be defeated. It cannot be refuted. Okay? Because it's a complete worldview. The only way to attack the Christian worldview is to present another worldview. But unfortunately, you won't be able to do that because there is no other ultimate to appeal to. Because in order to appeal to an ultimate, it would have to be a mind, and it would have to have the same characteristics or attributes of the Christian God. But it's too bad that some of these knuckle-dragging atheists keep on saying, well, you haven't proven your God. We've laid out a case for God's existence. If that is not accepted, that is a counterclaim, which will have to be unpacked and defended, but it can't be. Because what ultimate will you appeal to in order to refute that God as ultimate does not exist? Okay? If you're going to appeal to a line of reasoning, why does this line of reasoning at all even exist? What does it ultimately derive and depend upon? Well, the answer is there wouldn't be anything identifiable. The only reason why there could be a reason why anything is if what is fundamental is a mind, a God, and he has revealed himself. Okay? If that's not accepted, then there's not going to be any reason why anything is what it is. Therefore, everything loses intelligibility. So if you believe that there are facts, if you believe that there is intelligibility in this world, then you're going to have to conclude that this world reveals God, because otherwise, if he doesn't reveal that he's there and that these facts are a part of his plan, then there is no final reason why anything is what it is. But you see, the real motivation is people don't want there to be a God. Okay? And that's why they come up with these ridiculous, foolish lines of reasoning. And I think it's an overstatement to call it reasoning. Okay?
Intellectual flailing? Is that the...
Yeah. Uh-huh. Give me a second. That's too bad. Ride, put your hand down. You were already up here and you wasted your turn. Okay, Rohit, come on down. Oh, I hit the wrong thing here. Sorry. All right, SpongeBob, I hope you're an adult. Go ahead. So I guess we're dealing with the kindergarten today, folks.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, if there's any, people, atheists in the audience that want to ask a question, I know it seems like there's a lot of people in the queue, but a lot of those guys, are trolls, or they've already been up and acted quite childish. So if there's anybody you want to put your hand up, we'll probably get round to you reasonably.
A3, come on down.
Allah is real. Allah is the only one.
At least they believe in God, It's just they need to go a bit further down the path towards Jesus. I
feel sorry for him being raised in an Islamic country. Yuck. Ripper, go ahead.
Yeah, hello? Okay. So no, I don't want hope my mic isn't too close to my mouth.
No, you're good.
Okay. I was gonna ask, nigger, 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 nigger.
Wow. And another one.
Well, I wouldn't let it bother you, you know.
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just it's unbelievable. I mean, we just want all we need is one good person. We can have a good conversation for a while, but we sit here going through tens of people at a time.
Go ahead,
and
Bodhi.
they're just trolls.
Well, I'm not letting it bother me. I mean, they're just imbecile teenagers. Yeah, go ahead, Bodhi. God does not exist because
Wait, am I allowed to ask a question, or am I going to get kicked?
you can, but you first need to address the topic. God does not exist because.
Oh well. I thought I heard someone say I could ask a question, and I just.
Go ahead, Bodhi.
Okay. When did you start believing God? What exactly caused you to start believing God? Was it something that your parents presented you to?
I don't remember, but there was never a time that I did not believe in God to my memory. Okay.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask.
Even as a child, I had a rudimentary belief that I thought it was more ridiculous to not believe in God than to believe in God, because then you believe that there is no rhyme or reason why anything is. It's just a world of chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll be on my way out. I just was curious, and I really don't have anything to say why he doesn't exist. But
well, let's put it this way. Okay. Ask yourself this question. Why does anything exist? Why does what exists continue to exist? Right? We have a myriad of things that we're acquainted with, and even beyond, a myriad of things that exist. So why does anything exist at all, and why does it continue to exist? Well, this means that there must be something that is without beginning, that is eternal, that has established why anything at all exists other than itself. Right? And we will either have to acknowledge that that is a mind, God, or we will have to believe that it is not a mind. But then why would you believe that? Because a non-mind couldn't reveal itself. Only an eternal mind that is ultimate and absolute, that institutes creation, can construct the world in such a way that it reveals its existence, and allowing for some of those minds to foolishly deny what the Creator has revealed. So I personally consider that non-belief in God is the height of foolishness. Okay, and that includes even people with very high IQs. If you've listened to me at all here today, or for the time I've spent on Discord, we have yet to meet a rational, intelligent adult who can come up with a rationale why there is not an ultimate creator. All we get is the most ridiculous, fallacious lines of reasoning. Well, there can't be a God because some people die. There can't be a God because there are some children who die. There can't be a God because all that building in Florida collapsed. No, that's just a reminder that your time is limited, and unless you repent, you're going to come to destruction just as well, and then meet your Creator. So this is sad. We can't get one adult-minded person in here explaining the rationality of atheism. Not one. Go ahead. Oh, Bodhi's. Okay, you're still
yeah, I'm still in here. I'd like to about what you said about people saying that suffering happens despite there being a God, right? I kind of think that if there is suffering, and if God does cause that suffering, then there probably is a justified reason as to why that happens. And if we don't, despite us not knowing that justified reason, he still probably does it. And the way I kind of like to think is,
we're not in a position. We're not in a position to evaluate the plan of God. And the sad thing is there are people out there who want to appeal to suffering or death and saying, well, if there is a God, he couldn't be benevolent because it's incompatible with a benevolent God. Says who? Maybe that benevolent God has a greater purpose of arriving at the best of all possible worlds, and it has to be coming through a world where there is a limited numbering of suffering to motivate and to achieve the maximum number of people who freely choose to want to be a part of that creator and the best of all possible worlds. Okay. So what we have is just utter irrationality. Look, I've even talked with top professional atheists with PhDs, and none of them, none of them have rational grounds why there's no God. None. Because if they had one, they'd give it. Some of them have even written books like The Best Argument Against the Existence of God. But then when I got that same person on an AMA and I asked him, what's the rational basis that there's no God? He just simply says, oh, well, naturalism is simpler. It doesn't follow that naturalism is simpler, that there's no God. But that was the best that this guy has written a number of books on atheism, and that's the best he could do on microphone. This is why we're not having adult-minded people step up to the microphone and explaining why there is no God. Because there is no rational basis for atheism.
Is it okay if I say something else?
Sure.
Honestly, when like you actually gave you said that it was more, I forgot the word, but you said it was more rational to think that there was no God, right? Back then, when I was younger, I kind of thought it was like a more rational to think that there was no God. Because I'm not making fun of you guys, but I'm just saying like saying that there's like a God in the sky that.
Well, hold on. What is your position? You either believe in God or you don't.
I don't know. I'm extremely biased. You know, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either you believe that God is ultimate creator, or you do not believe.
Well, I've yet to decide what position I take. You know.
No, you have decided. You have decided that you will not affirm the necessity of God. So, although you have decided, you are simultaneously claiming you haven't decided when you have decided.
Okay.
Okay. You have decided that all the facts that you're acquainted with do not compel or necessitate referencing the necessity of God as creator. You've already decided.
I see.
Okay. But you're hiding behind the fact that you haven't decided. These people saying, oh, I don't know. If you say you don't know, then that means that they've decided that all the facts that they're acquainted with do not necessitate referencing God. But then how they determine that? Then the answer is they haven't. So here's the point. In the Christian worldview, which is the only worldview that I argue for and defend, contrary to what some people say that I don't defend the Christian worldview, right? In that worldview, we have God who is eternal, who is ultimate, and he is a mind, and his mind is the ultimacy of all that exists. His mind imposes what is, can be, and cannot be according to his plan. So if I can reason, it is because I am endowed and imbued by that eternal mind to be like himself, who is reason. But if that is to be rejected, then how can it be said that I possess a mind of reason in a world that is not governed by anything? That there's nothing identifiable, defensible, that is dictating why there's any rhyme or reason why anything is, and that would also include what my so-called reason would be. There would be no rhyme or reason why there are events in between my ears, let alone why anything else happens. There would be no identifiable relations between anything, because there would be nothing ultimately dictating and imposing why there is a connectiveness or a correlativeness between any two state of affairs or events. So it is literally irrational not to believe in God. Okay?
Okay.
Because if you say I reason, and atheists champion that they're champions of reason, well, if you reason that there's no God, then what would be the ultimate reason that there is reason in a world where nothing is dictating why anything is? Okay? So atheism is irrational. It is not coherent. If you say, I asked a top atheist who had 2 earned PhDs, how is it that God doesn't exist? And you would think that a man who is an atheist firebrand and an atheist debater with 2 earned PhDs would have a cogent answer. You know what his response was? I don't have a reason to believe in God. So rather than argue with him like we're at the cafeteria table, I said, good. What's your reason to believe what is ultimate that's not God? What's your reason to believe that? And he had no answer. And in fact, he became angry and he wanted the conversation to end. And this is a high-level atheist debater. Now, if anyone should have rational grounds for atheism, it should have been him, but he had none. Nor do any other atheists. Now, if there is an adult atheist in here who does have rational grounds for atheism, raise your hand. Okay, so Gargatha, come on down.
Hello. So, I just want to open up here. Do you believe that there are invisible dragons that we cannot feel flying around the air right now?
Okay, are you trying to pull one of Carl Sagan's rationales?
Yeah, this is a Carl Sagan rationale.
Yeah. And
Would
do
you
you know
like to
that
answer the
do you know
question?
that do you know that Carl Sagan, okay? Hold on. Did you know that Carl Sagan refused to identify as an atheist, but in fact he was an atheist? Did you know that?
Well, that's great, but you're avoiding my question here.
No, I'm going to get to your question because I want to let everyone know what is the source of your question. Okay? What Carl Sagan is presenting is a kind of modified version of Russell's teapot. Okay? Have you ever heard of Russell's teapot?
Not explicitly, no.
Okay. Bertrand Russell was a brilliant atheist philosopher in the 20th century. And he came up with this idea that there's no reason to believe in a teapot orbiting some planet out there, or invisible teapot, if you will. All right. So what you're saying is, I don't believe that if something is postulated or proposed to exist, but there's no reason whatsoever to believe that it exists, then I don't believe it. Now, are you trying to draw an analogy to the invisible dragons and God?
Well, yes, because if you believe that there is a god but not invisible dragons, both are entities that cannot be empirically observed. You can't see them with your eyes, so how can you say one exists and not the other?
So your position in regards to the invisible dragon vis-a-vis God is that the only things that are worthy of believing in are those things that we can confirm through empirical endeavors. Is that your position?
That is my position. That is the basis
Okay,
of
now,
science.
okay, all right. Now, what you don't realize is that is a contradiction in terms. That statement, the only things that are worthy of believing are those things that can be empirically verified. How did you verify that statement empirically?
Well, using logic, really, because it's
That
a fallacy to say...
doesn't stop. Okay. Giving me a generalization is not an answer. I will repeat the question. How did you empirically verify the following statement? That any and all things that we believe in must be empirically verified. How did you empirically verify that belief?
Well, if you see something, then you know it to be true. If you don't
No,
see
you didn't understand the question. It just went right over your head. Okay. Do you understand? Are there some things that you believe in that cannot be empirically verified?
I can confirm anything I believe in via empirical
No,
observation or logic.
no, you can't.
If you'd let me
Can you
talk for 2 seconds,
can
I'd
you
explain.
empirically verify that there are universal invariant absolute laws of thought?
Can you repeat that?
Can you empirically demonstrate that there are universal invariant laws of thought?
Yes, because I can hear people talk about their different thoughts. It's
Okay,
empirical.
listen to me. No, you can't. You can empirically verify any statements of universality, because you would have to be either omniscient or everywhere at all times in all places. Okay? Can you empirically verify that there is another mind?
Yes, I can see with my own eyes another
No,
person speaking their own opinion.
No, you are inferring that the water bag that you see, that moist meat bag that is responding to you, that it is being operated by a mind. But you're not empirically verifying that that there's a mind.
All right, let's shift topics.
So do you understand? Do you understand then that you do believe in several things that can't be empirically verified? Can you empirically verify that the world was not created 10 minutes ago?
I believe I've existed for more than 10
No,
minutes.
I didn't ask you.
So.
I didn't ask you what you believe. See, listen. When I ask a question, I'm dead serious, and you have to focus on my question, not on some semi-related rabbit trail. Can you empirically verify that the world was not created 10 minutes ago?
Yes.
How?
Well, have you existed for more than 10 minutes?
Okay, asking me questions does not answer the. Listen to me. Let's stop. Stop. Okay. You are not responding to me in an adult fashion. Okay.
I would have. Well, you're the one who's cutting me off and not letting me
because I'm cutting you off so as we don't waste time. Number one, you don't know what you're talking about. Number two, you're not focusing on what I'm saying to you. How can you empirically verify that the world was not created 10 minutes ago? How would you do that empirically? What test could you perform to prove that?
You can watch a clock for 10 minutes, and
do
you
you
know what the definition of empirical is?
Yeah. Empirical is that we do observation, testing, and repeatability via our sense perception.
Isn't it true you can watch a clock
You're
for
not
10 minutes?
Okay. Listen to me. You cannot empirically demonstrate that your memory of past 10 minutes ago was not created 10 minutes ago.
Okay. How about
All right?
this? How can you
So
prove...
listen, hold on a second. I'm trying to explain to you that you're advocating empiricism. Now, do you believe that there are facts?
Of course.
Okay. In order to be facts, must there be identity over time?
Facts usually remain true, yes.
Okay. Now, if we have a fact and it has identity over time, which can include that there are certain aspects of it that change, but there are certain things about it that do not change, and so it has identity over time. Now, must there be something that imposes and secures identity over time? Or else what we're dealing with is an illusion of identity over time?
I mean, facts can change over time.
Yeah, you're not responding to what I'm saying. Must there be something that institutes and secures identity over time? The answer is yes. Otherwise, identity over time is an illusion. Okay, do you understand that?
I believe you're using a straw man argument here.
Okay, all right. Listen. You are a deer in the headlights, and I'm not going to waste any more time.
Well, how about this? One more point.
All right, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. This is why some people don't want to have children, because you get that. Okay, Mermy, you're up. Go ahead, Mermy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. God does not exist because...
Okay, I'm an atheist. Atheist. I just want to say something or ask something real quick that will help with my answer as well as how you pose your question. Is that all right?
Yeah, but can you get a little closer to your mic, please?
Okay, so I agree that what others have said was extremely irrational. And I just want to say, real quick, like 10 seconds, you being extremely rude to people, calling them dumb, isn't really going to help your argument. It's actually just going to make them go cry.
No, it's not. It's not intended. It's not intended. It's not intended to help the argument. Okay,
God doesn't say
Mermy.
push people away. God doesn't say push people
Mermy.
away. If I believe in God,
intended.
if I believe it, what you're saying, it's not intended when you're literally like, that's embarrassing.
Okay. Again, this is why some people don't want to have children. Okay. Let's see who we have here. Okay. All right.
You know, I'm not being funny, but I don't think you've actually called anybody dumb. I've been listening.
Alex, go ahead, Alex. Alex, God does not exist because... Okay, Gabe. Gaben, go ahead. Come on down, Gaben.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you. Yeah, no, oh no, I'm agnostic. I just wanted to ask, does it have to be a religious question? Because I have more of a social issue.
Okay.
That I wanted to talk to you about.
Gaben, can you be neutral about being dead or alive?
Can I be neutral? What do you mean by that?
Have a nice day, Gaben. Okay. Again, this is why some people don't want children. Okay, let's see. Go ahead, Bean Bomb.
Hi, I just wanted, sorry, it's just loading for me. Okay, I just wanted to say, follow my stream, Mythical Bean.
So crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was a plug as well. That was jokes. They didn't even get into it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
They're wasting our time. Okay, Desperado, go ahead. You're on. Yeah, if you don't come on the mic, I'm going to remove you.
Can you hear me?
Not anymore. I removed you. Okay. J Key, go ahead. You're on. God does not exist because...
Well, do you know Mr. Batman? I was talking to him and he said...
J Key, God does not exist because...
Well, was Mr. Batman banned?
Okay. With children like that, the threat of overpopulation is going to go away real fast. Okay, let's see. Okay, Moody, go ahead. You're on. Moody, M-U-D-I. God does not exist because... You got 5 seconds, Moody. All right, we're done with that. Okay, Edwards, go ahead. You're on.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, go ahead. God does not exist because...
God does not exist because, I mean, Why is the burden of proof on me to? I don't understand why.
Well, if you go to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy in their introductory paragraph, it makes it very clear. Okay, is that atheism can only be properly understood in terms of what theism is. Okay, atheism is the negation of theism. Theism is the positive proposition that God exists. Right now, the atheists of the last generation have attempted to bastardize the word atheism to define it in such a way as to insulate themselves from having to defend their real belief that there is no God. So what they do is they call themselves atheists, and then they say, well, atheism is a lack of belief, and that atheism is just a rejection of God claims. All they're simply doing is bastardizing the word atheism. Atheism in the English-speaking language has for a long time, and it still does, refer to the denial of the existence of God. Now, in a couple of minority dictionaries, they will say that it also is a lack of belief, but that is ambiguous. Okay? Now, the point is this. There's only two positions that one can take. One can affirm or deny the existence of God. Claiming not to know or claiming to be in a state of ignorance is dodging the question. But the good news is this, is that even the agnostic position is a clandestine, indirect, implicit denial of God. So if you believe in God, you need to give a reason for it. If you don't believe in God, you need to give a reason for that.
I would ask, is it impossible not to know?
Well, being that I'm a Christian, it's my position that God has made you and I and everyone else to know that he exists through the totality of everything, and without which there would be no reason to believe in anything. In other words, unless you accept the fact that God has revealed himself in and through all facts and that they are a part of God's plan and mind, and in that he has revealed himself through creation, God's eternal powers, his eternal attributes have been clearly seen through what has been made, that men are without excuse, then you will be left in the predicament that there is no fundamental rhyme or reason why anything is what it is. Therefore, you will be left in a state of unintelligibility. Right?
So you're saying, so are you saying you believe that it's impossible not to know, or you don't believe that it's impossible?
I think that somebody who claims they do not know God exists is an indefensible claim.
Okay, so you're saying it is impossible not to know.
Yeah, because God has made us to know. So when somebody says, I don't know that God exists, I don't accept it merely because somebody makes a self-referential claim. The statement, I don't know that God exists, is the equivalent of saying all the facts that I'm acquainted with do not necessitate referencing the necessity of God. Okay, well, how do they support that? Well, the answer is they don't. They can't. So even when they attempt to mimic the agnostics, even that statement is indefensible. So either you will affirm and believe that all facts derive and depend upon God, and that all facts necessitate referencing God, or not. And if it's not, then you believe in the independence of facts from God. Well, then the question is, how is that determined? Well, atheists and agnostics don't want to defend that because they can't. And consequently, they won't. So what we're doing is we're showing the incoherence of atheism. Okay? By showing the incoherence and the indefensibility of atheism, it lays the groundwork for us to show the coherence and rationality of believing in God. That the reason to believe in God, first and foremost, is because without him, you wouldn't have a reason to believe in anything. The reason to believe in God is that all these things reveal God, right? And if you reject that notion, then there will be no rhyme or reason what anything is. If facts do not indicate God in that they reveal God, then there wouldn't be any reason why anything exists, because the fact in question would not be the product of and be sustained according to the mind and plan of God. So then the person will say, well, it's a fact for some other reason. Well, then what would that be? Well, there won't be anything ultimately identifiable as to why anything is. Interestingly enough, people don't adopt that there is no rhyme or reason why anything is, because that would plunge them into complete incoherence and absurdity. But that's the exact position that they put themselves in when they deny that God has revealed himself through all of creation, and therefore there is a rhyme or reason why there are facts, because they emanate from and are revelatory of the mind of God. So they think that they can get away with denying God by their silly excuses by saying there is no evidence for God, but then then they're going to plunge themselves in a situation. If there's no evidence for God, then there is no ultimate reason why anything is what it is. Therefore, they have to shut up.
And you're saying that there needs to be an ultimate reason for why everything is?
No, unless they acknowledge that God is, and we know this by virtue that God has revealed himself through creation, which is the only way that we could come to know and posit God, that without that, then this puts this person in a situation where whatever they say cannot be grounded as intelligible or reasonable, because there wouldn't be a reason for anything.
So you said we know this. By that, do you mean you know this, or do you mean that everyone knows this inherently?
God has revealed. I am not going to surrender my non-neutrality, because the atheist is not going to surrender his non-neutrality. Nobody is neutral. Either we will accept and affirm that all facts reference and reveal God, or we will hold to the position that all facts do not reveal and reference God. Okay, so I'm not about to surrender my neutrality and then collect a bunch of facts that I'm pretending are neutral and say, oh, well, there's God. Okay, I'm not neutral and no one else is neutral. So in the Christian worldview, God has made everyone to know that he exists. Okay, part of the way God has revealed it is this: if there are facts at all, then there must be identity over time. And if there's identity over time, then there must be something in and of itself that is invariant, absolute, and ultimate, that is instituting and securing identity over time so that there can be facts. But the only way that we could actually invoke and defend that is if what is ultimate and invariant that imposes identity over time is itself eternal, that has the ultimate identity. Okay? Now, if that is denied, then there is no rational basis metaphysically to claim identity over time.
No, I understand. It's almost like trying to pick up something, trying to pick up sand with an
back off your microphone a bit. You're too close to your mic.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm saying it's almost like trying to pick up a handful of sand and opening your fist. It seems everything seems to slip through through your hands, if that makes sense. That's the sort of the metaphor I'm going with. Like, so what you're saying is if you don't have identity over time, then there can be no consistency to reality. You're always trying to
without acknowledging identity over time, okay, for particulars and states of affairs, then you can't speak intelligibly. But now the question is this.
Yeah, because no thing has any one solid meaning. It could it could be interchangeable.
That's right. Without all of the particulars, individually and collectively, either they will be acknowledged to emanate from the mind of God and are providentially secured by the mind of God, or not. If somebody chooses or not, they have now plunged themselves into a realm of incoherence. The only reason why many people will not come to acknowledgement of this is because they're in full-blown rebellion against God. They don't want to surrender their autonomy of reasoning. They want to live in God's world, but they want to surgically remove God while living in his world. Well, you don't get that luxury. If you're going to reject God, you're going to reject his world. So now you're going to have to explain to me your world from the ground up. If you claim you don't have a reason to believe in God, and therefore the mind of God is not the reason behind all states of affairs because we're in his plan, then why is there a rhyme or reason about anything?
So are you
Did you get what I just said?
Yeah, of course.
If we say we don't have a reason to believe in God, in other words, they're saying this world does not reveal God because it's a part of God's plan. If the world reveals God, okay, if the facts have identity over time and reveal God, then they are a part of God's plan to reveal us. If somebody says, well, I don't have a reason to believe in God, I don't have a reason to believe these things reveal God, then you don't have a reason for anything. Because if you say, oh, yes, I do, say, good. Explain to me fundamentally and foundationally, why is there a rhyme or reason why anything is what it is? What are they going to do? Appeal to the laws of nature? Because I'll just say, what laws of nature? What makes the laws of nature what they are, if indeed they are real? Okay? So you see, this is why the Bible says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Because once you reject the world as created, reveals God as he intended it, and somebody suppresses the truth and unrighteousness, then you don't have any reason for anything. Because where would you get it from? The answer is nowhere, nothing.
So what, I guess outside, I'm curious, outside of a conversation like this, what would this incoherence look like? Like, as in, how would it manifest or express itself?
If I tell you the dog is wagging its tail, or the sky is blue, or the apple is on the counter, in order for that to be fundamentally intelligible, it's going to have to emanate from God's creation, that everything is what it is within God's plan, and that's why there is dogness and tailness and wagging. If somebody rejects that, then I want to know what it is on a fundamental level, on a grand scale, that is going to institute a state of affairs so that there can be dogness, and so that there can be an intelligible concept of wagging or the sky being blue. Okay? In other words, in order for there to be intelligibility, we have to have the ability to learn things. In order to learn things, there must be identity over time and the regularity of nature. But if they're real, what is it that imposes and secures them? Well, for the unbeliever, they go, well, it just is. Well, that doesn't show that the regularity of nature is self-existent and eternal. It doesn't even show that they're real. Because how would they differentiate and distinguish that between a world of just simply spontaneous occurrences that are unrelated and connected to each other? You couldn't. So atheism is hopelessly incoherent. And that's why they engage in being argumentative, right? Because what else are they going to do? Give a coherent, rational defense of why there is no God? No, they don't. That's why they become argumentative, and they obfuscate, they prevaricate, they verbally misdirect. All right. FaZe, go ahead. Come on in, FaZe. And if you don't come on, we'll move on to somebody else. Exford, go ahead. Come on down, Exford. All right, we'll move on to somebody else then.
Yo. I'm back. I'm here. What's up?
Good. So, God does not exist because?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons, but we'll start off with the fact that...
Why would you, hold on a second, why would you need many reasons when you just got one?
Well, no, I'm going to start off with one reason, but there's a lot of reasons for it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of evidence, not necessarily not evidence, but like theories as to why, like rational theories as to why not.
Exford, fill in the blank. God does not exist because...
So the first reason I'm going to start off with is there's a ton of different other religions and shit. So how are you gonna say that one is correct?
That's a non sequitur expert. It doesn't follow
Okay,
that
bro,
there are
you're just gonna
different
say a
belief
bunch of
systems.
bullshit. I'll see you later.
Okay, yeah. And this is why fewer people want to have children with offspring like that. Okay. You know, with offspring like that, it makes it tempting to believe in the theory of evolution. Okay, let's see. Okay, Zora, come on down.
Hear me, Darth?
Go ahead, Zora.
If somebody swears on the stage, we've got to remove them basically straight away.
Okay, go ahead, Zora. Okay. We'll move on to somebody else. Assassin, come on down. Spook, come on down. Go ahead, Spook. God does not exist because...
Hi, I'd like to hear how a disembodied mind institutes reality.
How? Because God revealed that it did.
How?
He revealed it through natural and special revelation. Now, what I'd like to know from you is...
I haven't heard the answer.
I just gave you an answer. I said God has revealed himself as a disembodied mind through natural and special revelation.
I understand. How did it institute reality?
How did it institute reality? By speaking it into existence.
But so it like talked and it happened, is your answer?
God said, let there be light, and light came into existence. When God commands things, they come into existence.
How did it speaking cause it to come into existence?
I couldn't answer that because I'm not God. Now, are you an atheist?
I'm a local atheist.
Okay, well then you're not an atheist then. So which God do you believe in?
I'm a local atheist in response
right.
to
Then if you're a local atheist, then you'll believe in some God.
No, I'm
Otherwise,
neutral to the other gods.
You can't be neutral. That's incoherent.
Explain.
Okay, you can't be neutral toward the idea that there is an eternal creator any more than you can be neutral about being dead or alive. Can you be neutral about being dead or alive?
Are people in heaven dead or alive?
Okay, all right. Have a nice day. Okay, we're talking about you right now. Okay,
bye, Darth Dawkins.
Yeah, you're a fool. Okay, yeah, that's a non sequitur. People in heaven, okay, remain in their soul existence, and they will be reunited with their bodies. Their bodies are dead, but their souls exist. Okay, the question was, how can he be neutral about whether he's dead or alive? Okay, the people in heaven know that their bodies are dead and will be resurrected, so they're not neutral about being dead or alive. Okay, and again, with children like this, who wants to have children? Okay, Puddle, you're up next. Go ahead. God does not exist because...
Hi. I'd just like to comment on the fact that by you saying the question of God does not exist because, I feel like you're really limiting the argument. I feel like we should be having a more open discussion on atheism and the existence of God. And
Are you an atheist?
Yes, I'm an atheist.
Good. Tell me why.
I'm an atheist because I don't think God should exist. I think he's an evil man if he does. Or at least the Christian representation of God. I'm open to other gods. I do.
Okay. Well, first of all, you wouldn't be in a position to rationally object to anything that the God of the Bible does or commands. Okay, let me repeat that. You don't have rational grounds to object to anything the God of the Bible does or says.
Why is that?
Because you can't. Because if you don't appeal to the mind of God, okay, then whatever propositions you invoke, they will cohere ultimately to nothing. You see, in the God of the Bible's world, the only things that exist, they only exist because they derive and depend upon God, which is the mind of God. So if you offer a proposition that the God of the Bible is bad or evil, okay, then that proposition could not conform to the mind of God, because God does not hold that proposition. So how would you be able to make any determination about what anything is if it doesn't derive and cohere to the mind of God? The answer is you couldn't.
Could I also ask you?
Let me ask you this question. Hold on a second. Let me ask you a
Go
question.
ahead. Sorry.
If I asked you to define truth, how would you define it?
Truth. I guess that's subjective. Truth is whatever can be proven, I would say. Now, how you prove that is, it's very subjective on
how would you be able to prove something in a not God world where what is ultimate is unidentifiable and indefensible? Therefore, whatever state of affairs you invoke, it would never ultimately derive or cohere to anything. So in a world without God, you couldn't prove anything.
Fair enough, I guess.
So would you accept that truth is that which conforms to reality?
Okay, this is what I felt every time you've been
Do you
talking to
accept
someone.
that
You've been very
definition?
good at steering the conversation into something
I'm not
completely
steering the
unrelated.
conversation. I'm keeping the conversation focused on the topic.
Okay.
Now, do you believe that truth is that which conforms to reality?
I don't know.
Okay, then okay.
Simply,
Do
I
you
just don't
agree?
know.
Listen, all right, listen. When you and I make statements, okay, they contain propositions that are truth bearers. So if you or I say the sky is blue, or it's a beautiful day outside, whatever it is, these statements contain propositions which are deemed to be true. Okay?
Well, I would say if you say that the day is beautiful outside, that's just an opinion. There's no truth in that.
Does it? Oh, it's not?
Someone could love the rain. The day could be beautiful and it could be raining and it could be raining.
Wait a minute.
Like that's.
So in other words, on a slightly a very sunny and cloud-free day with the wind blowing through her hair, we couldn't say that's beautiful as opposed to a tornado sweeping through our neighborhood?
You could say it was beautiful, but that would be completely your opinion.
Oh, okay. So you think that
just not the
aesthetic?
truth.
Okay, so there's no objective grounding to aesthetics whatsoever.
No, yeah.
Okay, so is there? Okay, so there's no objective grounding. Now, when you speak, right, you question the goodness of the God of the Bible. Okay, now is that when you condemn the God of the Bible for doing bad things, were those statements true?
Well, in my opinion, he has done bad things.
Okay. Is it true?
You asked why I didn't believe in God.
Okay.
You didn't ask why God doesn't exist.
Is it
you asked
true?
why I don't believe, and I don't believe because I believe that things he has done in the Bible, or the Bible says he has done, are inherently evil. You
I'm
might
not
disagree with me.
understanding it. Do you believe that what God has done, recorded in the Bible, is inherently evil or bad?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
or most of the things.
So what is your standard of what is good so you can say it's evil? What is your independent, objective standard of the good in order to say that the God of the Bible has deviated from that? What is your objective, independent standard of the good?
Something that serves humanity in a positive way and that lets people, individuals, live a good life.
Okay, so in other words, it lets humanity live.
Live,
So
thrive.
the
It lets
okay.
humanity thrive.
Oh, okay. So as long as humans live, that is the ultimate objective standard. All
No,
you're saying.
no. As long as
I
humans
want
live
to
a
know.
good
I
life.
want to know. Listen to me.
As long as
I
humans are happy.
want to know what your ultimate objective standard of the good is.
I don't
What
have
is
an
it?
ultimate objective standard.
Then you have no basis. Then you have no basis to say anything is good or bad. Then.
Well, I do. You don't have to.
No. Then your
I don't have
claim
to have
that
an
something
objective standing.
good. Then
To
all you're
make an
giving
opinion.
me, all you're simply telling me, is that you don't like what the God of the Bible did.
Okay,
That's all
sure.
you're
I
telling
don't
me.
like what the God of the Bible has
So
done,
what? Who
and
cares?
that
So
is
what?
why I don't believe in God.
Okay.
You
The
asked
fact that
why I was an atheist, and that's why I'm
listen,
an atheist, because I
can you
don't like what he's done.
can you not be so argumentative? Listen
Okay, I
carefully.
apologize for being argumentative, but I feel like you're
Alright.
cutting me off quite often, so I feel like I'm
Okay.
having to raise my voice.
No.
Which I feel like is what's happened in a lot of your debates with
Listen,
people.
the
You tend to
fact,
cut them off, just as
wow.
you did right there, and
I will
then
you
you
certainly
kick them
do
off
have
the
the gift.
stage
You
and say,
certainly
"This
do
is
have the gift
why
of gab.
people don't have children," and you attack their families and their.
And that is why some people don't have children. It's amazing how she could get so many words out and not pass out without taking a breath. Whew. Okay, let's see now. All right, let's go to Let Me Be. Go ahead.
All right. So there's just one thing I can't wrap around my head. Hello?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to explain to me why there is no God.
Okay, I need to put you on speaker.
Why?
It doesn't. I can hear you.
I want you to tell me why there is no God.
I'm just gonna. Can I just say this real quick? I can't wrap around my head why you support God when He gave you such a micro penis.
Okay, there we go. Why would anyone want to have children? Okay, let's see. Go ahead, Auntie, you're on. We're waiting. God does not exist because. All right, he bailed. Okay, Jordan, you're on. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yep.
Can you hear
God
me?
does not exist because.
God does not exist because there's no possible way to saw Bunny.
I'm not understanding it with your poor quality mic.
Sorry about that. There's no possible way to saw Bunny.
All right. That is why some tigers eat their young. Okay. Synchro, you're
At
on.
least
Go
it's
ahead.
not a big mob of people raiding us anymore, Darth, you know?
Yeah, this is an anti-rating measure. Go ahead, Synchro. God does not exist because. Yeah, if you've been on before and you've been removed, holding up your hand will do no good. You won't get on again, okay? You blew your opportunity to come on. If you're on a troll list of mine, you're wasting your time raising your hand, okay? Okay. Now, we only want adult-minded atheists coming to the microphone, okay? If you're not adult-minded and you're not an atheist, then you will be removed quickly when you come to the mic. Okay, go ahead, Mermy. Tyler, go ahead. Go ahead, Mermy.
You keep
Blue fanny pack, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been listening to this for a while, and I think that there's a fundamental issue with.
Wait a minute, did I have you on before?
Yeah, but I have some follow up. Can I? Or are you gonna cut me off?
All right, I'll give you another chance, but I will warn you, you better talk to me like an adult, otherwise you'll be removed quickly.
So I mean, but so a lot of the things that you're saying is that you believe that there needs to be a reason for, everything.
Well, don't you?
No,
So you believe in arbitrariness?
if that's what you want to call it, sure.
Okay, good. Well, everything
So
you're
I
about
think-
to say, everything that you're saying right now is hot garbage because there are rocks on the moon. There, we're done.
What do you mean it's garbage?
Well, I'm just being arbitrary. It's okay for you to be arbitrary. You just said so.
Just because I think that there's no reason for things doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to have opinions or thoughts on the world.
Okay.
I can have beliefs.
There's no reason why you have beliefs.
That doesn't mean that I can't have them.
There's no reason that when you say
Sure,
you just
but
can't.
I'm okay with that. I don't feel the need for.
There's no reason. There's no reason why you're okay with anything.
And that's fine.
There's no reason why
I think
things are
that's
fine.
why there's always going to be an issue with you talking to atheists, because I think that you just fundamentally disagree with the fact that reason is not necessary.
Do you realize how convoluted what you just said is?
No.
You're fine that there's no reason for anything.
Yeah.
So therefore, what you believe in is that arbitrariness is unacceptable. That arbitrariness is acceptable. But
Everything
you
is
don't
subjective.
listen, Blue. Okay, that's a contradiction in terms.
How?
If everything is subjective, then so is that statement.
Yes, I know that is my personal
Okay,
subjective
yeah,
outlook on the world.
You're not okay.
But you also said earlier that it's a fact
Blue,
that the Eiffel Tower is
Blue,
in Paris?
Blue, listen
And
to
that's
me
not
carefully.
a fact.
Blue, listen to me carefully. Okay.
What?
If everything is subjective, okay. If I say to you, I like ice cream, okay.
Yes.
In order to make a subjective statement, objectivity has to exist in some shape or form. Otherwise, even subjective statements are meaningless. So if I said to you, I like ice cream, that is an objective statement of what I subjectively like.
Yes.
If you say everything is subjective, that would include that statement. There would be no objective grounds to stipulate that anything at all was subjective. It is a self-refuting statement. Okay?
Okay. So you think that the objectivity comes from God?
What is objectively true is whatever conforms to the mind of God.
Even when he changes the rules for us.
What does that even mean?
Well, I'm just saying, because I know that you're a Christian, right? From listening to what you're talking about, and God changes.
Hold on a second. Are you under the view that everything that God commands at a certain time and place is intrinsically good? Or let me rephrase that. That there are certain things that God commands in certain periods of time to accomplish his purposes. It doesn't mean that a particular command or forbiddance always means that something is intrinsically bad. Sometimes it does mean that, but not always. Okay?
But doesn't that
So
mean it's
you're making the mistake. Let me give you an example. For example, God forbade the Jews to eat pork. Okay, that was a command.
Okay.
And if a Jew who was in a covenant relationship with God within the nation of Israel ate pork, it would be a sin because he has broken the covenant relationship with God. But that doesn't mean that somebody who is outside the covenant relationship by eating pork, that it is intrinsically evil.
So you're saying that God gives commands to people that aren't actually objectively wrong.
No, there are certain edicts or commands that God gives that reflect his eternal character and his general purposes in creation, okay? And other commands are a part of what God is accomplishing on a small and larger scale through the course of human history.
So we're puppets listening to the rules subjective to where we are, when we are, and everything.
Well, that is not the biblical view. If you read the Bible,
well, that's what I mean. You're saying that
okay,
can
you not overtalk? Can you not overtalk me, please? Now, are you familiar with the Bible?
I've read sections and
okay, if you're familiar with the Christian worldview, you could not walk away from that saying that the Christian worldview teaches that we're puppets. We are in a world by a sovereign God who has given us the capacity to make some choices. So we're not puppets. That does
but we
not
get punished for our choices.
That's right.
So do we actually? We don't. I mean, so it's choices under the pretense of an all-knowing God.
You will be punished because of your refusal to repent and turn to God for salvation. That's why you will be punished.
So I have, in a way, I mean, my choice is being dictated by an underlining understanding that if I don't do what he wants me to do, I will be punished. That's not what I really think is choice.
Choice is a choice is the capacity to do otherwise. Okay? Because if you can't do otherwise, it's not a choice. If I have a heart attack right now, I can't choose not to have a heart attack. Now, I could choose to go out for a walk, and I can choose to eat healthy, right? I could choose to engage in dangerous behavior that can make me prone to having a heart attack, right? But you have a misunderstanding of the Christian worldview, okay? Now, what I want to know from you is this. If you object, are you objecting simply to the God of the Bible's purposes and plan, or are you objecting to the actuality and existence of God?
Both.
Okay, so let's start with the bigger issue. On what grounds do you have that there is no God?
See, this is where I go back to I think I don't think that there's a reason for things, and I don't think there needs to be a reason.
Listen to me. Okay, listen. Is it your position that God does not exist?
Yes, that's what I believe.
Okay. So then you believe that there is not anything ultimate dictating why anything is, can be, or cannot be. Now, do you believe that?
Yeah, there doesn't need to be.
Okay, well then the word need is incoherent. Because in a world where there is not something instituting what is, can be, or cannot be, then you cannot have any intelligibility whatsoever.
That's not necessarily true.
You know, it is necessarily true, and I will explain to you why. Okay? Predication is the ability to invoke a statement that has a subject and an object, right? In order to predicate, okay, a statement with a subject and an object, you're going to have to state either what is, can be, or cannot be. But if there is no rhyme or reason why anything is, then you can't predicate.
And I think I think that there's going to be a disagreement there.
You're giving me.
I hear what you're saying.
All
I've
you're
heard
giving
you say this
me.
to multiple people.
You're not even giving me defeaters to what I'm saying. All you're doing is you're generalizing, right? As in lieu of you giving me a defeater. Okay, unless there is. Let me put it this way. If nothing is dictating that anything is impossible, then you won't be able to make coherent, intelligible, positive statements. Okay? Because positive statements require that their negation cannot be. Okay? Do you understand what I just said?
I mean, I don't necessarily follow your train of thought.
Did you understand what I just said?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand.
Okay, can you repeat back to me what I just said to you?
You're saying that the like thinking, you know, being intelligible, having positive thoughts.
If I said to you, the dog is running in the backyard.
Okay.
Okay. Is that an intelligible statement?
I mean, it's an observation. Intelligible, I guess.
Yeah, it means it means something.
Yeah, humans invented language.
Okay,
and
if
communicate. We communicate what we observe. Yeah.
Well, humans choose tokens, but you don't know that they invented it, as opposed to it was created and ordained by God. Okay.
Well, okay, so we
now,
invented English. We're speaking English, right?
Okay. Now, well, English has to do with the tokens that represent language. Now, we say the dog is running in the backyard. Okay. You agree with me that that's an intelligible statement, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I said to you the dog is running in the backyard, and at the same time and in the same sense the dog is not running in the backyard, would that be intelligible?
Well, let me see. Like, so it's running and not running.
The dog is running and the dog is not running at the same time and in the same sense.
I mean, it doesn't. It seems contradictory.
Are outright contradictions intelligible?
I mean, I don't exactly know your definition of, you know, intellectual.
If I said the dog is running in the backyard, and at the same time and in the same sense the dog is not running in the backyard, is that a contradiction?
If you're talking about the same dog in English, yes.
Okay. Is that complete compound statement intelligible?
If you think that hypocrisy is not intelligible, then no.
Okay, we're not talking about hypocrisy.
Well, your contradiction. If you think that a contradiction.
All right, okay. We're gonna move on. Dumb as a bag of rocks. Okay. You try to be patient